Hello and welcome back to Pixels and Points. This is Matt Nelson, the digital media director at Red Rock Advertising, and with me, as always, we have Susie.
Yep, I'm the traditional media planner buyer here at Red Rock.
And today we're going to go over some fairly quickly, some media and marketing tips and thoughts for theme parks and events and amusement parks and other kinds of things like that. So just to get into this, Susie, what we're trying to talk about is like what as a amusement park do you need to think about when you're doing any kind of an event or just general advertising to the local community and even nationwide about like what you're trying to get across. So for anybody just getting started, number one thing is on the next page is, of course, you need to work on make sure your website, the SEO is up to where it needs to be. Your PPC and your email, those are all the lowest hanging fruits to make sure you get everything going with your marketing and you get your word out. For the SEO, there's lots of different sources and news about what's going on with SEO. Mostly what you want to do is optimize towards Google. And here at Red Rock, we have a lot of our account service to people that are dedicated to, learning what's going on with that and making sure that every client's website SEO is up to snuff and working fantastically, including the right blogs, keeping the website current so that it gets crawled and making sure that Google has the right information about the website and the most up to date. So it's all about making sure that your website is showing up on the right organic searches, and that it's got the right information for what people need to know. Do you have any other ideas for that?
Yeah, I think absolutely making sure your website is optimized would be one of the most important things out of this category over everything else, right? Because that's kind of your first stop in the funnel. The first thing people are going to do when they're thinking about taking a trip, whether it's spending a lot of money or a little bit of money, that's the first place you're going to go. So if that's not working, then everything falls apart.
It's their first stop or it's their last stop, honestly. Mm-hmm. It's if they're doing organic searches and they find you, they'll see you. But even if they go and they see you on a social media page or they see a story about you and they learn about you from those things, they're eventually going to make it to your website. And if your website doesn't have a good, user experience, a good layout, have this just easy to read and easy to follow instructions to maybe get to the correct ticketing platform, which I actually won't get into ticketing, which is its own thing. But
ultimately the most important step of the process.
Yes, it's don't touch on it in a second, but the ticketing platform choice is very key, and just working with a lot of different ticketing vendors, it's challenging to know that you're working with the right one. So moving on from that, PPC is another big thing that everybody does, and it can be challenging for an event to make sure you're advertising to the right people and your PPC is tracking and your search and your click, and sometimes people include some display in this as well. Mm-hmm. But with your PPC, you're not only wanting to just have some general campaign that's running, you want to have some campaigns that are also, retargeting people who have already searched. And if they search again for, say, theme parks near me, make sure that you have a different ad that's saying, hey, I see they've already been to your website and you're saying, hey, come back and learn more about us, or like see what this special deals that we come to our deals page, see what's going on. There's a PPC is a huge tactic that takes a lot of money to make sure you're hitting the right audience. And if you have different events, different things happening, different targets that you want to hit, you want to make sure that you have different PPC campaigns for it. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, you may have an amusement park that's, doing to the general public, but you may also have like a group events PPC where, you want to target local businesses, even maybe not. And by local, could mean anybody from, within 10 miles to within 100 miles, depending on how far they would want to travel to get to your venue. So it includes that. I mean, there's even some venues and some parks, even agritainment wise, where some
Mhm.
people have like weddings and things like that. And that's going to be a completely separate PPC campaign. So you want to have all
Absolutely.
of those linked and working the way they need to. And to kind of go with PPC, I also include email, which is still a very huge tactic as well.
Mhm.
But you need to have a strong email campaign, especially with some of the rules that Google just put out, where
That's
if
right.
your some of your emails get flagged as spam, your domain could be flagged as spam. So it's really important to have a partner in your email campaign that knows the rules and can make sure to keep your domain off of on a whitelist instead of getting blacklisted from Google, Yahoo, and other email providers. So it's along with that, with the email, you also want to make sure that that's linked in with your retargeting and
Absolutely. Yep.
ticketing platforms so that you can always make sure that your list is up to date and you're emailing the people that are being responsive, and that you can with the ticketing platform you can keep up with, let people know that who have tickets if there's anything extra that they could have added to their ticket and that kind of a thing. So you want to make sure it's a very strong platform as well. Anything you got for that, Susie?
No, I think you've kind of covered it. But yeah, definitely
I
makes sense to have those experts behind you, right? And knowing what they're doing and always knowing what the new rules are so we can circumvent those rules.
All right. Do
All
you want
right.
to take on the next one and I'll jump in?
Yep. Next, social media. Of course, obviously, events, when you've got amusement parks, you want social as part of your campaign. Biggest thing here, I think, with any kind of theme parks and amusement parks is you want to have a video as part of your social because you want to show what's going on and make sure everybody can see kind of the excitement of the attractions. Obviously, great avenues for this would be using Reels, TikTok, trying to get behind those audiences. You want to have a hashtag. You want to make sure everyone's excited about what's going on. But I think video is probably the biggest component out of social to make sure we're hitting hard.
Yes, because social media is just becoming more of just a video platform for users and everything to post what they're doing. You also want to think of is if there's any local or maybe not even local, depending on what you are, influencers that you could
Yep.
attract and
Mhm.
that are in your wheelhouse that are actually kind of that would be good additions to your social media campaign.
Obviously. Yep. And there's so many different like bloggers and YouTubers that their whole bread and butter is going to amusement parks and riding that roller coaster for the 200th time and getting that video of it. So great
Yeah,
partners.
along with doing your social media, you'll be getting followers, you'll be people that interact with your sites, and you need to build those audiences, especially for any kind of a paid social media campaign that's more of a general ad.
Mhm.
Beyond what you do as a social media management kind of a section, which we actually have different departments here at Red Rock
Right.
that deal with both of them. Beyond just being social media management, where you're putting out a lot of good content about your park or attraction. You're also going to be backing that up with a paid social media campaign that's going out to those people who have interacted with your business, but also people who are in your target or maybe lookalikes. So that, and I'll get to lookalikes more in a second, but
Mhm.
um, but yeah, it's very useful social media wise to hit all of those people. And we're talking, you need to make sure that you have a good presence on every social media site that's in
Right.
your area. That's not just so you just don't need to go onto Facebook and think you're done. You need to be on
Yep. You need
Facebook.
to get everybody.
Yeah, you need to be on TikTok. You need to be on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Instagram, Snapchat, and I feel even in sometimes Reddit can be a
Mhm. And
can
even Pinterest we've
one.
used not so much for
Pinterest
theme
too.
parks, but for other clients. Mhm.
Pinterest works well. It really depends on who your main target is and who you're trying to hit. Like if you have a social media campaign that's going after parents, then
Yep.
definitely Facebook and Instagram, Pinterest is going to be where you're going to want to hit it. If you're going out for some more of the thrill ride junkies, party kind
Mhm.
of culture people, it's going to be a different target. So, yep, social media is definitely an area you need to make sure that you have a strong presence in.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Next.
Next up.
Local advertising, definitely. I've kind of touched on a little bit of it already, but some of the big options that you have in the local advertising is going to be on digital. It's going to be using mobile IDs and geofenced campaigns.
Yep.
What these will do for any attraction or event that you're going to be marketing is you're hitting just the people you want to target. So, for example, geofenced, what the geofence campaign will do for you is, for say one of our clients, they specialize on advertising and trying to get groups of business people to come to their location and do business gatherings and have business parties and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
what we'll do is we'll geofence some of the larger companies in the area, and we'll move it off every few months or whatever, and we're targeting those specific businesses with geofenced campaigns, and we're moving that
Mm-hmm.
around to make sure we hit with that. For the mobile ID, what you can also do is, in the local area, if you know that your target is frequenting other areas, maybe not just competitors, but you
Right.
know that they're the audience that goes to this location and goes to this location. Like for some of our park, we might look at people who are going to the local, and this is on a much more local area kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Say if you're in like the Austin DMA or Dallas or whatever, we would look at, if you're looking for families that are active, you might want to look at sports parks and things like that, where they have peewee leagues and things of that nature. So we would
Exactly.
definitely look at geofencing those on the specific days, or just pulling mobile IDs of people who have been there and advertising, retargeting to them later. So these are all very much more targeted local advertising that you can be very specific in your ads and hit those exact targets that you want to hit.
Yeah,
So
like you said, I think it's great for competitors, but also great for really drilling down and hitting right in
yeah,
your
it's
backyard.
one of our top. I mean, even though it seems like a very niche kind of a target, it's one that we like to really, hit for a lot of our clients, to make sure that that's, even though it's not, a search or it's not Facebook, it's definitely something that you need to be doing, because it's an easy one to hit the right audience that you're really trying to hit.
Exactly. All right. Next.
All right. Keyword retargeting and lookalike. This is stuff I've kind of talked about. I'm
Mhm.
talking about a little bit more in general than any specific, tactic. For example, for keyword, what we like to do is we're hitting people who have done major searches for, what you're trying to do. Like if you're doing an event at your park that is Christmas specific, or if it's Halloween specific or things like that, we would look at maybe doing some advertising towards people who have done searches or who are interested in Halloween events to do with kids, or Halloween events
Mhm.
out, like if they're looking for a haunted house, like we're going to do beyond what search is able to do. We're going to target them outside of search, with videos and display ads and everything, to hit those people who are interested right now in those kind of events. So if they're
Mhm.
looking for things to do in Austin, we want to hit them outside of Google and Yahoo and Bing, with anywhere else on the internet, with advertising to hit them and convert them on your website. So that kind of goes with retargeting as well. It's
Yep.
anybody that's shown any interest in your website, gone to specific areas in the website, we'll definitely look at redoing retargeting. One of the options with retargeting that we talk about is being able to retarget with a deal. Like if a client has a special deal on their website, or you want to retarget people who have been to your website and gotten all the way to the cart, maybe added to the cart, but abandoned the cart, especially for abandoned cart campaigns.
Exactly. Mhm.
A lot of clients want to come back and like give them a deal. Now, people have gotten wise to that, and they'll go and they'll abandon their cart and they'll wait for
And wait for the deal.
so I don't have exact numbers on what percentage those people are, but it is becoming an issue. So one thing we do recommend to clients is putting a delay on that audience of running to those people. You can actually put a delay on if you get the keyword audience from these people go to the site, they visit, you can delay running to those people until they've been in the audience for say 3 days, so a week.
They've had that time to marinate or go back or do that impulse buy before you hit them
Something that
again.
they wanted to do and they added to the cart, like give them a day or two before you give them the deal. So it's that kind of a targeting. And so lookalike retargeting is another very handy feature that we use on quite a few campaigns. It's looking at, who are the people who have come to your site, who have actually converted on your ticketing platform, and then looking at, people who are like that, and then trying to get those people as well. It'll put together all sorts of different algorithmic choices that the people have made. And
it's really based on all their behavior, right, online,
it'll be
and what
based
they're
on their
clicking, what they're looking at.
what we're able to glean from them. So, yeah, that's look like.
Good. All right, next.
Oh, do you want to take off this one, Susie?
Sure thing. Seasonal events and campaigns. So obviously, when you're looking at event marketing, you want to look at seasonality, and not only the big seasons, right? Obviously, we've got Halloween, we've got Christmas, 4th of July coming up in a few days. Those kind of big national holidays are no brainers, but you really want to look at what's going on locally, right, in your backyard and what you can piggyback off of that. So if you have a local fall festival, I'm trying to think of an example, or you're in Iowa, you have your corn festival every year, you want to make sure you're capitalizing on that and creating events within your space.
My thought is if it's something big that's happening, like if you're having a like the national championship football game in your area, or you have like a big NASCAR race, like we would have like a NASCAR race at Coda. I'm like, you could even kind of have an event based off of that. Maybe put some of the NASCAR numbers. If you have a go-kart race at your location, maybe put some of the NASCAR numbers on that, and then we heavily promote, be part of the race, that kind of stuff.
And it's a perfect way to align and almost have like a sponsorship with those kind of events going on in the market. I think it's really smart.
And we have a sister agency here, which is Fearworm, which specializes in haunted advertising. That's why the two pictures I have on the screen right now are the more of a fall festival pumpkin one and the Christmas one, which are easy events to pull off at your location. But a lot of event venues and theme parks will have like a haunted house kind of a section. They may not have a full haunted house, but it'll like a haunted attraction and that kind of a thing. And that's something that you really want to make sure you're promoting with all the tactics that we've listed so far. And it's a great marketing opportunity for you to bring new consumers to your park that maybe haven't come before, and it brings back people who have come before.
Yep. When you do different kind of events targeting those different kind of audiences, you're just getting in front of new people.
To another little micro point is that another thing that a lot of theme parks and amusement parks can do is have the loyalty programs. And these kind of events is what helps you build loyalty with your park, and it'll bring people back again and again over the course of time, so they can pay, like, instead of paying $50, $60, whatever it is for the ticket for once, they could pay $100 for a season pass. And since you change up the experience at the park, it'll bring people back even more. So being able to change that up for your, and I know I talk about theme parks like it's a big thing. I'm not talking about Orlando. I'm not talking about Disney World. I'm talking about smaller
kind of attraction
where you have a few rides, a good big arcade, maybe some other attractions at your park, and even some agri-tainment venues that have a few things. It can really bring people back and make you more of a location, a location in your market that's a destination for people to visit. So
I think all these tactics work for a huge amusement park, or like you're saying, the smaller agri-tainment, maybe a couple rides. It all works on the same, but just on a different scale.
You can have these events, but if you don't market them, nobody's going to know about them. It's not going to be as big as it could be. So it can be for somebody doing it by themselves, it's a heavy lift, but this is something that I know we specialize in, that we've helped quite a few venues pull off. So something that is doable.
For sure. All right. Next, we've got TV, OTT, and radio. So
Susie's favorite.
Of the traditional media, but yeah, obviously we talked about video earlier with social. Where's the number one place you're going to get your video seen is going to be television. That's where you're going to get those eyeballs, those impressions, and you could fit so much into, a 30-second spot. I think the other great thing about TV is if you do a spot buy, there's always that separation between church and state, between news and sales. But if you have attractions, if you have something exciting going on, it's easily something you can send a press release over, talk about. We're opening this new mini golf course. We're opening this new water ride. It's something that the news departments are going to get excited about, especially if it's a slow news day, and maybe get some extra coverage out of that, which is always kind of that feel-good story, what's going on local in the community. So it could be a really good place for outreach too. And as far as radio on the same side, endorsements are great. We've had a lot of great success with getting local DJs out to ride the rides, do a walkthrough through a haunted house, and then talk about it on air, which I think is great for kind of building that community outreach. Obviously, you get all the spots and dots along with it and all that value out of promo spots. But I think it really creates a good package together to really make the medium work.
Yeah, and I mean, including OTT in that, it's even though it's not with broadcast TV and radio, you can get that local feel and that local coverage. With OTT, it's not going to be that way, but you're able to hit the streamers and the people who are watching, Hulu and all those.
Well, you get the frequency exactly.
Frequency with that. But the local TV and the local radio is a must for any brand in a local area that you're trying to build your brand. You definitely need these top branding avenues. They're not the low hanging fruit. They're not the website, they're not the website, the PPC, the email. They're not the lowest thing where you're just trying to get, to the people who know you and just get people who are searching for theme parks. But this is where you get out and you tell people about your attraction, and it will plant the seed in their mind. They may not go right that second to your website, but it's definitely
that kind of top of funnel overall branding. Yep. And then you kind of work down from there.
It's with all the other options, it's people think that they're going to be hitting what they need to hit with all the other options, with their display campaign, their targeted pre-roll video campaign that's targeted to websites and things like that. But I mean, if you want to be a presence and for people to just know you in the market, you have to go with a broader reach branding message. So yeah, TV, radio, digital radio, and OTT are very important to the marketplace. So don't leave those out. I know they're last.
Absolutely, but now save the best for last.
They're last on my list right now, but they're definitely not last on your list of what you need to have on a marketing campaign.
Right. And budget wise, I know TV, radio budgets can be big and scary, but like you're saying with the streaming and the digital audio, there's other ways to be a player in this space.
You can stretch the budget.
Stretch your dollars.
Make your dollars work for you. And Susie is definitely a pro at that. So
I am.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for us today.
Yep. Yes, I think we covered it all. We covered a lot.
I tried. So, we'll see y'all next time on Pixels and Points.
Yep. See y'all next time.